Good morning, one and all.
Dobro jutro svima.
As you heard from our good brother here, I am from Australia, and I would like to bring some greetings from some of the good folks that I know there.
Kao što ste čuli od našeg brata ovdje, ja sam iz Australije i htio bih prenijeti pozdrave nekih dobrih ljudi koje donosim.
Just nearby from our college is a Croatian church.
U blizini našeg koledža je Hrvatska crkva.
And they have been strong supporters of our college over the years.
I oni su snažno podržavali naš koledž, podržavaju naš koledž kroz godine.
And I was preaching in the St. Albans Seventh-day Adventist Church just a couple of weeks ago.
I držao sam propovjed u St. Albans Adventističkoj crkvi prije neka 2 tjedna.
And many of them knew that I was coming here and asked for their greetings to be passed on.
Brojni među njima znali su da dolazim ovamo i zamolili su da prenesem pozdrave.
Some of you may know the names like Bolković family.
Neki od vas vjerojatno znate imena kao Bolković.
Kajfeš family, Rogalić family, and quite a number of other families as well. And I apologize to those that may be watching in Australia, because I understand this is live streamed, and if I've forgotten them, my apologies.
Znači, Kajfeš obitelj, Rogulić obitelj i brojne druge obitelji koje su poslale svoje pozdrave. Ja se ispričavam ukoliko sam zaboravio spomenuti neke od njih. Znam da neki možda sada gledaju preko interneta. Uglavnom primili ste puno pozdrava.
There is also one other thing that I will acknowledge too, and that is that I have a link to this country of Croatia.
Još jednu stvar bih htio napomenuti. Ja imam vezu sa ovom zemljom, sa Hrvatskom.
94 years ago today, my father was born.
Prije 94 godine, danas, na današnji dan, moj otac se rodio.
It is obviously 94 years ago my father was born in a little village called Belavici in Croatia.
Znači prije 94 godine moj otac se rodio u malom selu koje se zove Belavici u Hrvatskoj.
And we managed to drag him out of Australia and bring him back, and so he's actually here in the country this morning today.
Uspjeli smo ga dovesti iz Australije u Hrvatsku i on je zapravo danas ovdje.
He left Croatia as a young Catholic man.
Otišao je iz Hrvatske kao mladi katolik.
And he discovered that through the study of the scriptures, and our family became Adventists, and many years later the cycle has sort of been completed by us being able to come back here.
Kroz proučavanje Biblije, njegovo proučavanje Biblije, naša je obitelj postala adventistička i toliko puno godina kasnije krug se na neki način zatvorio i mi smo danas ovdje.
About 8 or 10 weeks ago, my mother passed away.
Prije nekih 8 ili 10 tjedana moja majka je preminula.
And she was a great mum to have. You can't choose your mothers, but I got a good one.
I ona je bila jedna krasna mama. Ne možete izabrati svoju majku, ali ja sam dobio jako dobru mamu.
And one of the things that she liked to do was gardening.
Jedna od stvari koje je ona jako voljela raditi bilo je vrtlarstvo, rad u vrtu.
And in her gardens she would often have little signs.
I u njezinim vrtovima često je imala male znakove.
And one of them reads something like this.
I jedan od njih glasi:
The kiss of the sun for pardon.
Poljubac sunca za oprost.
The songs of the bird for laughter.
Pjesma ptica za smijeh.
One is nearer to God's heart in the garden.
Bliže si Božjem srcu u vrtu
than anywhere else on earth.
Nego igdje drugdje na zemlji.
So gardens are an interesting thing, are they not?
Vrtovi su zanimljivi, zar ne?
They are places of beauty.
To su mjesta ljepote.
And you know, I want to just take a few moments this morning with you to look at something where we see the contrast between beauty and ugliness in a garden.
Htio bih sa vama nekoliko trenutaka jutros posvetiti mjestima na kojima vidimo veliki kontrast između ljepote i ružnoće u vrtu.
So if you will turn with me in your Bibles to John chapter 19 and verse 41, we will find an interesting thing about Jesus.
Ako u svojim Biblijama otvorite Ivana 19:41, naći ćemo u tom stihu nešto zanimljivo o Isusu.
So it's in the book of John chapter 19 and verse 41, and I read it in English and you will hear it in a moment. Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden there was a new tomb, and nobody had been laid in it before.
Znači čitamo iz Ivana 19:41. A na mjestu gdje je bio razapet bijaše vrt i u vrtu nov grob u koji još nitko ne bijaše položen.
It's interesting that Jesus finished his life in a sealed tomb.
Zanimljivo je da je Isus završio svoj život u zatvorenoj grobnici.
And he began his life in a sealed womb.
A započeo je svoj život u zatvorenoj maternici.
You have a virgin womb and a virgin tomb.
Imate sa jedne strane djevičansku maternicu, a sa druge strane djevičansku grobnicu.
At the beginning of his life, the virgin womb was guarded by a good man called Joseph.
Na početku njegovog života djevičansku maternicu je čuvao dobar čovjek imenom Josip.
At the end of his life, the sealed tomb was provided by a good man called Joseph of Arimathea.
A na kraju njegovog života zatvorenu grobnicu je osigurao dobar čovjek Josip iz Arimateje.
You can see there are some certain parallels there.
Vidite tu određene paralele.
40 days after he came out of the womb,
40 dana nakon što je izašao iz maternice,
he was taken to the temple to be dedicated.
Odveli su ga u hram na posvećenje.
Just like we saw this morning, and wasn't that beautiful as well?
Kao što smo vidjeli jutros, i nije li to bilo prekrasno?
That baby was listening to you, Daria.
Kaže, ta beba te slušala, Dario.
I'm told that the baby was only 4 weeks old, but she is alive and well, looking and listening.
Znači, tako mala beba, mjesec dana, ali vrlo osjetljiva za sve što se dešava oko nje.
So 40 days after Jesus is born, he is taken to the temple to be dedicated.
40 dana nakon što se Isus rodio, odveden je u hram na posvećenje.
And 40 days after he leaves the sealed tomb, he is taken to the temple where he becomes our high priest.
A 40 dana nakon što je napustio zatvorenu grobnicu, odlazi u hram gdje postaje naš veliki svećenik.
So do you notice how the parallels are that Jesus' life begins with certain characteristics and ends with the same sorts of characteristics?
Znači vidite paralele kako Isusov život počinje sa određenim karakteristikama i isto tako završava sa nekima.
When we look at the start and the finish of sin, we see a similar thing.
Kada gledamo početak i kraj grijeha, vidimo nešto slično.
Sin began in a garden.
Grijeh je započeo u vrtu.
I don't need to tell you the story. You all know the story about the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve and the tree, etc.
Ne moram vam pričati priču o Edenskom vrtu, Adamu i Evi, drvetu i tako dalje.
So you know that sin began in a garden.
Znači znate da je grijeh započeo u vrtu.
And sin was conquered in a garden.
A grijeh je i pobjeđen u vrtu.
We just read that in John chapter 19 verse 41.
Upravo smo to čitali u Ivanu 19:41.
And so what we see here is the first Adam joins his wife in eating and dragging the entire human family into sin.
Ono što vidimo u Edenskom vrtu je prvi Adam koji slijedi svoju ženu, jede i povlači cijelu ljudsku vrstu u grijeh.
And they did that because they listened to the serpent who said, "Take and eat."
Učinili su to jer su poslušali zmiju koja je rekla uzmi i jedi.
And then thousands of years later,
Tisućama godina kasnije,
the apostle Paul tells us
apostol Pavao nam kaže
that Jesus has become the second Adam.
Da je Isus postao drugi Adam.
And he gets there and says, take and eat.
I on dođe i kaže, uzmi i jedi.
Interesting the way the parallels work, isn't it? We start by eating and sin erupts on our planet.
Zanimljive su te paralele. Počinjemo sa jelom, jedenjem i tu grijeh ulazi u svijet.
And then Jesus takes the bread and breaks it and then says, take, eat. And this is the beginning of the end of sin.
I onda Isus uzima kruh, lomi ga, kaže, uzmi i jedi, i tu je početak kraja grijeha.
And suddenly the whole world is entitled to salvation.
I odjednom cijeli svijet ima pravo na spasenje.
It's a replay of Eden.
To je ponovni prikaz Edena.
In Eden there was a tree there. We know of it, of course, the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
U raju je bilo drvo, kao što znamo, drvo poznavanja dobra i zla.
And they lost their way because they ate.
Izgubili su svoj put jer su jeli.
And you and I can find our way again by once again taking and eating from the source of life.
A vi i ja možemo ponovo naći svoj put uzimanjem i jedenjem iz izvora života.
Adam and Eve's faith broke down because they didn't believe God's plan.
Vjera Adama i Eve se slomila zato što nisu vjerovali Božjem planu.
They wanted to know and then be like God.
Željeli su znati i biti kao Bog.
But at the cross it's the other way round.
Ali na križu je upravo obrnuto.
We first believe and then we become like God.
Prvo vjerujemo, a onda postajemo kao Bog.
Conversion, it's kind of like a mirror image of the way sin entered the planet, and conversion is a mirror image of the way we remove sin from our lives.
Obraćenje je kao odraz u zrcalu te situacije u kojoj grijeh ulazi u život, odnosno u kojem izlazi iz života.
At the fall, Adam and Eve rejected God's advice, God's laws.
Kod pada Adam i Eva su odbacili Božji savjet i Božji zakon.
They didn't believe him.
Nisu mu vjerovali.
And in Genesis chapter 2, we are told that that tree was in the middle of the garden.
A u Postanku 2 rečeno nam je da je to drvo u središtu vrta.
And at Calvary we are told that Jesus hung on a cross that was in the middle.
A na Kalvariji, na križnom putu, rečeno nam je da je Isus bio razapet na križu koji je bio u sredini.
In the few moments that we've got left, just think about Jesus and his sacrifice for a moment.
U ovih nekoliko trenutaka koliko nam je preostalo, razmišljajte o Isusu i njegovoj žrtvi.
At that point, he, I believe, was the loneliest man on earth.
U tom trenutku vjerujem da je bio najusamljeniji čovjek na zemlji.
He was rejected by heaven and rejected by earth.
Odbačen je bio od neba i odbačen od zemlje.
He was rejected by heaven because he took our sins, yours and mine.
Bio je odbačen od neba jer je uzeo na sebe naše grijehe, tvoje i moje.
And he was rejected by us on earth because we are ignorant and sinful.
A bio je odbačen od strane nas na zemlji zato što smo neznalice i grešni.
And so here we have the whole planet, in the beginning, ruined by one man.
Znači na početku imamo cijelu planetu uništenu jednim čovjekom.
And I remember when I first became a Christian, I thought, that's so unfair.
Sjećam se kad sam postao kršćaninom, razmišljao sam na način, to je tako nepravedno.
I have problems in my life because of somebody else.
Imam probleme u svom životu zbog nekog drugog.
And I don't want to get into the business of whether it was Eve's fault or Adam's fault. Let's just give it to them both.
Uopće ne želim ulaziti u to, je li to bila Evina greška ili Adamova greška, neka je greška oboje.
But the fact is that you and I now live on a sin-polluted planet And we didn't have anything to do with it.
Činjenica ostaje da vi i ja danas živimo u svijetu zagađenom grijehom, a ništa nismo imali sa time.
Because we are born sinful.
Jer smo rođeni grešni.
And it wasn't until I read Romans chapter 5 that suddenly the whole plan of salvation made sense.
I tek u trenutku kada sam čitao Rimljane 5. glavu, cijeli plan spasenja je počeo imati smisla.
I remember reading about the fact that Jesus died for me and saved me, and I thought, that's great.
Sjećam se da sam čitao kako je Isus umro za mene i spasio me i razmišljao sam, pa to je sjajno.
And I figured, well, if he died for me, I wonder who's helping you.
I pitao sam se, ako je on umro za mene, pitam se ko pomaže tebi.
Because it didn't seem right. My mathematical mind was like, well, if somebody has to die, well, if I have to die and somebody takes my place, well, that's 1 for 1.
Moj matematički mozak razmišljao je na način, ok, ako neko mora umrijeti za mene i neko drugi je zauzeo na taj način moje mjesto, to je 1 za 1.
How could it be that one man could die and yet all of us be saved?
Kako to može biti da jedan čovjek umre, a mi smo svi spašeni?
So let's turn to Romans chapter 5 verse 12.
Idemo u Rimljane 5:12.
In Romans chapter 5 verse 12 I'm reading, just as through one man sin entered the world and death through sin, thus death spread to all people because all now have sinned.
Znači Rimljani 5:12 čitamo, prema tome, kao što po jednom čovjeku uđe grijeh u svijet, a po grijehu smrt, tako smrt prijeđe na sve ljude jer svi sagriješiše.
And then come with me down to verse 18.
I onda idemo u stih 18.
It repeats itself by saying, through one man's offense, judgment came to all men.
Ponavlja se kada kaže, dakle, kao što je prekršajem jednoga osuđenje došlo na sve ljude.
But then it continues saying, through one man's righteous act, there is a free gift to all men and women.
Ali onda se nastavlja, tako izvršenjem zapovjedi od jednoga dolazi na sve ljude opravdanje koje se sastoji u životu.
And so today we spend a few moments remembering the life of Jesus and how sin came into the world by listening to somebody saying, take, eat, and how sin goes out by somebody saying, take, eat.
Danas provodimo trenutke sjećajući se Isusovog života i kako je grijeh ušao u svijet kroz taj čin u kojem je netko rekao uzmi i jedi, i kako je izašao iz svijeta činom u kojem je netko rekao uzmi i jedi.
You know, traditionally there are many scriptures that we use for the Lord's Supper.
U našoj tradiciji puno tekstova različitih koristimo povodom večere Gospodnje.
And we base this ritual, or we base this practice on things like Matthew 26.
Ovaj obred temeljimo na stihovima kao što je Matej 26,
Mark 14,
Marko 14,
Luke 22,
Luka 22,
1 Corinthians 11.
Prva Korinčanima 11.
But it's in John that there's a rather interesting metaphor that is used.
Ali u Ivanu je interesantna poredba koja se koristi.
And in John chapter 6, Jesus himself says that he is a metaphor.
U Ivanu 6 Isus sam kaže da je on metafora.
He is saying, I am the bread.
On kaže ja sam kruh.
I am the wine.
Ja sam vino.
And so Jesus is saying, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, then you're not one of me.
Isus kaže, ukoliko ne jedete od moga tijela i pijete moje krvi, niste jedan od nas.
And the early Christians were misunderstood about this. They were accused of cannibalism.
Rane kršćane su kompletno krivo razumjeli oko ovoga i optužili ih za kanibalizam.
But you and I know that what a metaphor is.
Ali vi i ja znamo što je poredba.
And so in the same way, Jesus used this metaphor by saying, I am the bread of life that comes down from heaven.
Na isti način Isus je upotrijebio u poredbu, u usporedbu i rekao, ja sam kruh života koji dolazi sa neba.
And so just like manna was provided to the children of Israel, so in the same way Jesus provides salvation to everybody.
Kao što je mana sa neba bila osigurana djeci Izraela, tako Isus osigurava i daje spasenje svima.
And one final thing that I just want to share with you in Matthew 26 that Jesus does say.
I na kraju bih još želio podijeliti sa vama nešto što Isus kaže u Mateju 26.
Jesus became one of us. He's human, has arms and legs.
Isus je postao jedan od nas. On je čovjek, ima ruke i noge, baš kao vi i ja.
But he tells us in Matthew 26 that he will not drink of the grape juice until you and I are with him.
Ali u Mateju 26 kaže da neće piti vina od grožđa, soka od grožđa dok mi nismo sa njim.
That's an interesting thought, isn't it?
To je zanimljiva misao, nije li?
I'm sure there are grapevines in heaven.
Siguran sam da ima krasnog vina na nebu.
But Jesus is waiting for you and for me.
Ali Isus čeka na nas, na tebe i mene.
To be able to enjoy some grape juice together.
Kako bismo mogli zajedno uživati u soku od grožđa.
I began telling you that I lost my mother just recently.
Počeo sam danas i kada sam im podijelio sa vama da sam nedavno izgubio majku.
I look forward to having a meal with her again someday.
Veselim se obroku koju ću opet podijeliti sa njom jednoga dana.
It will be a celebration.
Biće to slavlje.
When we all get together again as a family.
Kada se opet svi okupimo kao obitelj.
If you've lost someone,
ukoliko ste vi izgubili nekoga,
it's painful, I know.
Bolno je, znam.
But remember that we have something to look forward to.
Ali sjetite se da se imamo čemu nadati.
And if you want a little taste of what it might be like.
I ukoliko želite okusiti na trenutak kako bi to moglo izgledati.
Then I can only think of a couple of examples to give you.
Onda ću vam ponuditi dva primjera.
One of them is to come together at church and to remind ourselves that Jesus is coming back and that we will drink and celebrate together in the future.
Jedan je da se okupimo kao crkva i podsjetimo da će Isus doći ponovo i da ćemo piti i veseliti se zajedno i slaviti.
Another one is to go to the international airport.
Drugi primjer je da odete na međunarodni aerodrom
and just go and watch people.
I gledate ljude.
And make sure that you go to the arrivals section.
Pogotovo potrudite se da dođete na dolaske na aerodromu.
And don't go to departures, that's a very sad place.
Nemojte ići na odlaske, to je jedno tužno mjesto.
You will see the people crying, husbands and wives, boyfriend and girlfriend, family leaving and separating.
Tamo ćete vidjeti ljude kako plaću, muževi, žene, dečki i cure, obitelji koje se razdvajaju.
That's more like a funeral, isn't it?
To je više kao sprovod na neki način, nije li?
And I know how that feels.
A ja znam kako je to.
But if you go to the arrivals, you will see what it's like when the families get back together again.
Ali ako dođete na dolaske, onda ćete vidjeti kako izgleda kada se obitelji ponovo okupe.
You will see the laughter and the
smijeh,
tears.
Suze.
As the families reunite.
Kako se obitelji ponovo okupljaju.
And as they hug and as they get together.
Dok se grle i blizu su jedni drugima.
That's what Jesus has promised you and I.
To je Isus obećao tebi i meni.
And that's what we are celebrating just a little foretaste of this morning.
I to je ono što slavimo ovo jutro, jednu uvertiru u taj ponovni sastanak.
It's my prayer that you will enjoy that you will live your life in such a way that you will look forward to that great celebration.
Moja je molitva za vas da uživate u tome i da živite na takav način da se veselite toj proslavi.
May it be soon.
I koja će se desiti i želim da bude uskoro.
Amen.
Amen.